Happy Hump Day, All Souls Community Church. It's Wednesday morning, outside trying to get some fresh air, and I want to encourage you again to do the same. Get some fresh air, stretch your legs, get some exercise. This week we've been talking a lot about purpose in the pain, that pain is pregnant with purpose. And yesterday we talked a bunch about God being the potter, the one who leans into our lives so that he can make something beautiful, and that feels like pain and suffering, and he uses the pain and suffering around us to actually do that in our lives. And a bunch of you reached out to me yesterday, and I thank you for that. I heard from some nurses, and I heard from some teachers, and heard your stories about how difficult this season has been, and about how hard it is to believe and to live into some of the truths that we've been talking about. And I want to encourage you today with the words of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, where Paul writes to the church in Corinth. He says, we have this treasure, meaning God, his spirit, the spirit of Jesus himself. We have this treasure in jars of clay. He calls us jars of clay, picking up again on that potter illustration. We have this treasure in jars of clay for this purpose, to show that the all-surpassing power belongs to God and not to us. He says we are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down even, but not destroyed. Let me unpack that for just a quick second. He's saying this, that we are like clay cups that are going to be put under pressure and that are going to do things like this. We're going to chip. We're going to chip. But even when we chip, even when we're struck down, and even when we feel like we're perplexed and we're afflicted and it's so hard, and we do things like chip or crack, and it seems like we're losing our effectiveness. Why? Because isn't a cup supposed to hold in the coffee? Isn't it supposed to be not leaky? When the reality is, God told us from the beginning, our purpose is not to simply hold coffee or to do whatever it is that you think you've been called to do, whether it's a teacher or a nurse. That's your secondary purpose. Your primary purpose is to be a leaky cup. Because when we chip, when we crack, do you know what comes out of us? He says we have this treasure. Who? Him. His spirit in jars of clay, so that when we crack, what comes out of us, when we leak, what leaks out of us is not coffee, but God, his love, his power, his spirit. And so my friends, to whatever degree you feel like, I'm being crushed right here, please know, our God's not allowing you to be crushed, but in your affliction, he is allowing you to leak, because what God has given to you as a treasure is not yours to keep, but yours to give away. Where is he calling you today to be a leaky cup, to show the world that the power, the strength by which you are enduring, the reason why you have hope, and the love that you're sharing doesn't come from you. It comes from him, the one who was willingly broken before all eyes to see, so that all eyes could see the love of the Maker. My friends, I'm praying that as you are afflicted and perplexed and persecuted and even struck, that you will find this all-surpassing power pouring out of you, even as it's being poured into you, for the sake of everyone around you and for yourself. God be with you today.